Hello, hello. I think we're back. Sorry about that. I forgot that I had my Ethernet cable plugged in instead of using Wi-Fi, and for some reason my Ethernet doesn't like it when I stream, so the connection was shoddy for a second. But we should be back. We should be fine. I'm gonna wait until I see some people talking in the chat before I ramp up again. Just because I don't want people to miss anything, and also I hope I'm not still lagging. There we go, welcome back. Oh my god, Zay, hello. Hello, hello. Alright, so we'll get started. Hi Willow. Stuck in ad hell, it has shown me this like 4 times. I am sorry for putting you in ad hell. I don't know if I can disable ads. Can I do that? I'm technically... It's so funny. So I got the qualifications for being an affiliate... Not affiliate. Right? There's just Twitch streamer, and then there's affiliate, and then there's like one more level up, right? And the one level up you have to apply for, or is affiliate the one you have to apply for? I got whatever one you don't have to apply for. I think it's affiliate, because I think the next one's partner. Is that right? I don't know. But anyways, I got the one where you have to have an average of 75 viewers per stream. And you have to like stream a certain amount of days a week. And you have to have like a certain amount of hours. I got that qualification. And then I immediately stopped streaming consistently. So, you know, bada bing, bada boom. And now I'm here. So yeah, we'll wait a few more minutes because we have that little fucking blurb. But then we'll just hop in. I don't actually remember the context for some of these, so we'll kind of be figuring it out as we go, because some of them are kind of like I know that the Sollux one, the weirdly intense Sollux one, this is like when when June like revived Karkat, or not revived, killed Karkat, and then they had to like bring him back. Dumb Ways to Die was my fault. That is fucking awesome. Hell yes. And like not even the silly way that 22 seconds is kind of my fault for saying like, you know what, we fucked. Was it you, Skitty, who said that? Or you the one that was like, hey, what if Cancri survived? It was so funny because like we because it was because we read that chapter, right? Because we read that chapter and then we were talking about it. Am I crazy? That was around the time that we read the chapter. So really, if we're being honest, I get at least 25% of the credit. I get like maybe even a bit more than that, because I get like at least a little bit more credit for 22 seconds later being a thing. You did this? I did. I also still haven't caught up. I heard that it got gayer, which is crazy. I don't know how it can get gayer, because like Karkat is the most gay person that there ever was. How did it manage to get gayer? Like, that's all I know. That's all I saw in the chat. And I was like, I haven't been able to catch up on this recently. So I don't know how it managed to do that. He just did some gay things. Okay, I understand. When they fucking Sollux, Karkat, and Dave, alternate universe Sollux, Karkat, and Dave go to a pride parade. There's like little side chapter. Hold on, we gotta stop our quest to fucking stop or stop Dave from ending the world. Dave, you know what? Pre-event Dave definitely went to a pride parade with Sollux at some point, and he got like all the like little like souvenir, like the stupid souvenirs and stuff that are all rainbow themed that you can get at a pride parade, and just like decked himself out with them. He absolutely did that, partially to spite bro, but also because he's gay as hell. That's my headcanon. That's the fic I want written, okay? AU DSK could do a pride parade and immediately see MCE DSK there. Would MCE DSK go to a pride parade? I feel like it would take a little bit of time. It would take a little bit of time for well, I guess Dave isn't has finished repressing his homosexuality by the end of MCE, like, pretty thoroughly. Yeah, you are right. You are right. Spur Pride Parade win. It's gotta happen. Actually, that's literally just Homestuck, never mind. Yeah, Homestuck is, like, pretty fucking gay. You know, it's funny because, like, Homestuck is kind of problematic and dated in a lot of in a lot of ways. But, like, all the trolls being, like, inherently pansexual, and, like, there being a, you know, lesbian, like a canonically lesbian couple that have, like, that kiss on screen and are very openly, you know, specifically canonically together, get married, all sort of stuff. Now, obviously, a lot of that stuff happened later in Homestuck, but for the time that Homestuck came out, it was pretty progressive. At least I would think so. Maybe not, like, crazy progressive, like, it wasn't, you know, moving moving the ship, but it was definitely, you know, on the board. So Homestuck might be kind of very, you know, racist, ableist, you know. Yeah, love the LGBT, hate the racism and ableism. Yeah. To be fair, Kanaya's had a crush on Rose since pretty much the beginning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, Homestuck's take on, like, women characters, like female characters, and how all the female characters are just as fucking batshit insane and, like, weirdos. Like, every character in Homestuck is kind of a freak, is kind of just an absolute weirdo. There's no, like, sexy girl character that was, like, you know, what every piece of media has to have, right? And even nowadays sometimes, like, all of Homestuck's girls were like just absolute nerds and weird and, you know, just as varied and strange as the guys were. I can excuse some of Homestuck's stuff as a bunch of terminally online kids growing up out of an edgy phase, but it's also, like, some of it is just hussy. Yeah, absolutely. Risco wishes she was the sexy girl, but instead she's a sewer rat. It's true. It's true. She really wants to be, but no, she's just as pathetic as everybody else. All right, let's get started reading some of these things. Yeah, this one is Dumb Ways to Die AU, which is I'm pretty sure pre-event. So we're just gonna hop into it. Oh shit! I leaked DMs. Hold on. No. Okay. Let me move Discord not onto that screen. There we go. All right. And just my fucking college server. Goddamn. Okay. So here we go. What POV is this? Is this Dave? No, this is Karkat. Wait. No, this is Dave. I saw Moira Ellen. I was like, who? This is Dave. All right, here we go. That was way too close, man. Way too fucking close. You breathe shakily, peering out between the trees at Sollux. Sorry, Sollux says, still staring at the last glimmers of light from where the angel disintegrated. That wasn't an indictment of you. I just don't like this shit at all, you say, and creep out to stand by his side. So much for a break from people trying to kill us. Your Moirael grumbles and stabs vaguely at the ground with his sword as the last of the angel's light fades. I guess it makes sense that the other side wants us dead too, you say unhappily. Yeah, well, we all know of their best plays. I didn't think an actual angel would be so easy to destroy. I must have caught him off guard, Sollux says. Bro was their most skilled angel when it came to murdering people. It's not training you ever wanted, but you don't want to die up here either. It's not as if you're going to thank him, though. Fuck that guy. Come on, let's hurry out of here before he comes back, you tell Sollux, touching his arm. The pair of you hurry off back to the car and drive for as long as you can. It's 3 days later when the angel comes back. You two are wandering through a town. Sollux's human camouflage really needs work, but he's put enough into it that people aren't noticing him. The whole don't look here thing works very well as long as you keep a low profile. Here is an example of a not low profile. The angel rounds the corner onto the same bit of sidewalk as the pair of you, not even 6 feet away from you. He seems surprised to see you. Oh, this is exactly... Okay, I need to... is as far as he gets before Sollux runs a sword through the guy's face. It goes in diagonally, cheekbone to the bridge of his nose, and comes right out the other side. Someone screams, and you see the angel's face flick in the direction of that scream. He clearly realizes that humans don't survive that, even if he can, and very unconvincingly collapses backwards, dead. More people are screaming now, so you grab your watch from inside your chest and stop time. Low profile, you hiss at Sollux, dragging him off. It was reflex. Unholy shit, that didn't even do anything to him. What kind of fucking angel is he? Sollux shouts, hurrying after you as you hold time still. I don't know, but we need to find out, you mutter. We can't ask Matuna. It'll take way too long for me to get back down there to get him, and I'm not leaving you alone for that long, Sollux insists. You let go of time and listen to the distant screaming and shouting. If the angel is set on not blowing his cover, then you're okay for now. You can't just get up and walk away with all those people watching. If heaven is trying to fly under the radar, then you can use that to your advantage here. I could ask Kurlaws to ask Matuna, Sollux suggests. Not a bad idea. The guy is clearly killable, or destructible. You did it before, you point out and unlock the car. It must be in his chest, Sollux says from inside the car, his hand drifting to your rib. The third time is a week later. He comes out of the dark by a truck stop and gets as far as, don't be afraid, before Sollux launches every sword you have at the guy, or nearly every sword. Where's the shitty Welsh sword? You ask Sollux as he picks up his armory from the ground. I gave it to you, Sollux shrugs. You didn't? Don't tell me you lost, you start. Future you, Sollux corrects himself. Damn it, future me, stop stealing my shit. Also, this didn't narrow down where we need to stab the guy at all. We have no new information, you point out, waving a hand at the pile of swords. You're alive, quit bitching, Sollux shoots back. The fourth time is unpleasant. Wait, please. The angel's voice is cut off with a wet gurgle thanks to the sword in his neck. Sollux raises his own sword again, and you see the angel finally arm himself. You freeze time and lunge for him, plunging your sword into his middle and yanking it upwards. Time catches up and the angel chokes, staring at you before dissolving into rings and light. He pings back upwards into heaven and you drop your sword, your hands shaking. Sollux's arms wrap around your back, his warm face presses into the side of your neck, and his tail swings around your leg. It's somewhere between his stomach and his heart. We're getting somewhere. I've got you. I won't miss the next time, he whispers to you. I don't want there to be a next time, you whisper, your voice unsteady. I'll ask Kurlaws about him when you're somewhere safe. Everything dies. I'll get this guy, Sollux promises. You just wanted to be done with this, to be out of hell, to be out of danger and blood and metal. You just wanted to be safe for once. Shush, Sollux says, and runs his hand over your cheek. You missed the fourth time. You weren't even in the room. The fifth time, Sollux nails the dude right in the heart and one-shots him. The sixth time, Kurlaws has got back to you and said that if he's this hard to kill, then he's either a throne or a seraphim. Both are very bad news. A seraphim makes more sense for combat, but if this isn't a hit, then you might be dealing with a preachy throne trying to convert you or something. Either way, thrones can and do kill, so Matuna's advice is kill him first. Sollux looks up at you from the ground after this sixth kill. It's almost like he's enjoying this. It's the stupid look on his face. It's amazing. Sollux grins. He is enjoying this. 7 and 8 are unusually back-to-back one day after another in the same week. Saturday, then Sunday. On Saturday, Sollux stabs him through the chest in a Vegas back alley, and on Sunday, Sollux launches them both off of a casino roof into a fountain. The look of surprise and almost, yeah, I'd stab me too, on the guy's face is something. It's not entirely as funny as Sollux seems to find it, but it's really weird. 9 is interesting. Please read? What kind of sign is that? Sollux says from the passenger seat. What? You ask. We just passed a big handmade sign that... there! Sollux points as you drive past the poster board sign. This is important. Please read, this is important? What's that supposed to mean? Or what's this supposed to be for? Sollux wonders. Maybe it's June playing a prank, you say thoughtfully. You've only met her a couple times, but she seems fun. Sollux makes an irritated noise at that, but you don't get time to address it because the next road sign comes into view. Don't be afraid. The angel, it's gotta be, Sollux gasps and presses the button to put the hood down on your car. I mean you no harm. Oh, hell yes, that's him up ahead. I'm gonna get him with the car, Sollux says gleefully, his tails flicking back and forth in excitement. No way you can hit that small a target from this speed, you say disbelievingly. You're not slowing down for this thing that's screaming obvious trap. Oh yeah? Sollux retorts. You don't slow the car for the angel. Sollux throws a sword at the guy like a javelin, stabbing him through the heart. You don't slow the car, but you do slow time down a little, enough to catch the indignant look on the angel's face as his body dissolves. Best one yet. That's made my fucking week, Sollux cheers, dropping down into his seat again. What do you think he's gonna do next time? I can't wait, Sollux adds eagerly, twisting around to see if the angel has returned to the same spot already. You eye the gleeful flick of Sollux's tails and raise an eyebrow as a thought starts to occur to you. You think you'll probably keep this to yourself for now. Your trip around the world starts to become a list of scenic locations for Sollux to murder an angel. Sollux skewers the guy in the Sydney Opera House. He pierces him in the middle of Paris. He gets him in the Grand Canyon, and so on. There's almost no uncertainty left when Sollux stalks the angel onto It's a Small World ride in Disney. You've lost count of the times you've seen your familiar end this guy, and you're not inclined to put yourself through a puppet-based attraction to watch him do it again. You're going to buy tacky t-shirts and see if you can find a clue for Sollux, since he clearly doesn't have a single one about this whole situation. A distantly yelled, "Motherfucker, no!" makes you raise an eyebrow over your novelty sunglasses, but you're still not going in there. Sollux comes back as you're admiring a scandalously too tight kid's t-shirt on yourself. You can get in it, but it was definitely not designed for this. Damn if it doesn't do great things for your chest, though. The glittery details on your pecs really add to it. You're dripping on my new shirt, you tell Sollux, and shove a handful of candy floss in your mouth. He shoved me in the water. Did you hear that, though? I didn't know you could make angels curse like that, Sollux says, almost bouncing off his feet with glee. I heard you, you sigh. I stabbed his heart on a model building, Sollux says gleefully. Oh, me, you groan, saying, oh God doesn't really have the same ring to it when you're the god. You should have been there, Sollux grins. I'm gonna call June, you say, and get to your feet. Sollux looks put out by that, but he doesn't say anything. I think I want to go talk to another god for a bit, you add, walking towards the park exit. What's the point in doing that? Sollux grumbles, following along behind you. You don't answer, already shooting June a message. You need a break from this. You're trying to enjoy your only year of freedom, and even if Sollux is having a great time with this, you're pretty over it. You need to do something on your own, something to break this pattern already. Just mentioning June has put a dapper on Sollux's mood, and it's even worse when you get to the next town and she responds to you. You have to tell Sollux that you're going to hang out with June alone, and... What do you mean alone? Sollux demands. I mean without you. We're just gonna go fly and stuff, talk, hang out. If I need you, I'll summon you, but you start. I can fly. I don't even need your stupid skateboard, Sollux protests. Not cool, man. I gave you my ability to fly. I didn't do it so you could throw it back in my face, you tell him flatly. What's so special about her? Sollux snaps. Maybe I just want to spend time with a god who isn't trying to kill me. I just want to do my own thing for once, you argue. Why do I have to stay here? She might be trying to kill you. You don't know. Sollux looks like he might cry. She's not. And if she was, I'd fight back and bring you with me. Just stay here. Do your thing. Maybe that angel will show up and you can kill him again. You love that. I'm just bored of it all. You shout back. Sollux looks hurt. He looks so hurt and you feel awful about it. You can't be everything for him forever. You just can't. He has Aradia and you were worried when that first started, but you're happy for him. He just needs to let you have someone else too. You're not going to make him stay here, but you really hope that he's not going to push this so hard where you'd have to. Go on then, don't waste time since you want this so bad, Sollux says, his tone cold. Yeah, you need a break. You need to not be doing this. Hanging with June is nice, but you're still worried about Sollux. Worried that you messed him up by being too wrapped up Hanging with June is nice, but you're still worried about Sollux. Worried that you messed him up by being too wrapped up with him this whole time. Are you being a good Moirail by encouraging a little space and individuality between you? Or are you being a crappy Moirail by abandoning him? Mentally, you're sure it's the first, but it sure feels like the second. You don't summon him when you get back. It feels like it'd be a dick move to do that. Instead, you track him down the old-fashioned way. You're surprised that the hint of your ribs energy leads you to a hotel. It's not that Sollux and Aradia don't bone, but they hardly need to rent a room to do it. The alarm on the hotel room door is obvious to your eyes. Child's play compared to Bro's traps. You slip past it and eye the magic, interested to see that it would have been a very loud but otherwise harmless. There's protective spells around the place, but they all hinge on having bad intentions, which you don't. Both spells are written out in one of the human magical languages. You have a bit of a feel for them, but you can see the weird syntax that Bro's magic has coming through. It must be translated from angelic to human, same as Bro does to Ath. It must be your angel behind this. Sollux is unwell, to put it mildly. It's very obvious that he's gone out and drunk half a bar at least, and is now paying the price for it. Matuna did warn you about alcohol. Bro has spiked things before, but you've always wound it out of your system without effects by messing with time. Without you here to do that, it's clear that Sollux is really feeling it. You eyeball the room curiously. There's a chair brought closer to the bed, and a trash can at its side. There's water and crackers on the bedside table, and you see that the minibar is open. You think that Sollux has raided it, but the small bottles of wine are sealed. But the small bottles of wine are sealed, but now they're clear. It's water in them. All the spirits are straight up missing, bottles and all. Someone removed the alcohol from the room. A note on the bedside table catches your attention, and you pick it up. Sollux? Sorry if that's not how you spell it. You're going to feel really bad when you wake up. Drink this water and take these. It'll help. Hopefully by the time you wake up, you'll have slept most of the hangover off, but if not, don't worry. They pass eventually. Try to eat bland food like these crackers, and don't move your head too much. I would also not recommend teleportation, bright lights, or flight of any kind anytime soon. If you could not stab me next time, that'd be great. KK. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, what a cute little chapter. Wait, is this the same place as when Karkat and Sollux first spoke? It is. So, in that chapter, Sollux was at the bar and was like, my god abandoned me. Oh, my maker abandoned me. And and that's when Karkat was like, you are shit-faced. And you need to chill. And then helped him out. So yeah, this is the little behind the scenes of that, which is very fun. It's so fun to the way that like, and it's so like Dave is like here, and he's like, where's the line? Was it a clue? Yeah. You're going to buy tacky t-shirts and see if you can find a clue for Sollux, since he clearly didn't have one about this whole situation. He's so... The signs get me every time. It is really funny to imagine Karkat, like, placing the signs and, like... like trying so hard, and Sollux fucking javelins a sword out this like car is speeding at like probably like 90 miles an hour, and then like Dave slows time just enough for it to slow motion for Sollux to like and Karkat just like I imagine like slow motion Karkat looks, stares over, and his eyes go wide for a second before it's just like disappointment and just he's in shimmers again. Imagine Karkat like, I know exactly what to do. He's like in like with Rose, and like Rose won't tell him shit because Rose knows that none of this is going to work. It'll work eventually, but she knows that none of this is going to work, but it has to happen. And and Karkat's like, I could try signs. Like, what if I did signs along the road? And like he's trying so hard. Rose, I got an idea. That's nice, Karkat. It's exactly that. It's exactly that. Oh my god, I love them. What if I did signs on the road and then stood in the middle of it? How did that go? Muffled Karkat screaming. Yeah, I think that Karkat like doesn't like Rose doesn't even bring it up anymore. She just Karkat like once again like, you know, like twiddling his thumbs, like comes to her and is like, hey, can you tell me where they are again? And Rose just fucking like knowing smile. Also, it is, I think if it is so funny because Sollux should be grateful that Karkat didn't get all of his memories back, because holy shit, the embarrassing amount of pitch that he was when he didn't realize it. Like, I would make fun of him for that for forever. Remember that time he tried to kill me? The third time? The fourth time? The fifth time? The sixth time? Remember that? Fucking dumb ways to die, yeah. Okay, next one. Mindfang B Karkat. I think this is Mindfang POV, I want to say. I don't know if this is we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how much some of these are like canon versus... I mean, obviously the other one was canon, but some of these are just like little exploration, little pieces. But I'm pretty sure this is about the Mindfang versus Rose fight that happens like pretty early on. So we'll see. This one's super short. This is like this is explicitly an AU of an AU. Okay, so very, very short little blip. We'll see then. Karkat knows what he is in this. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Rose fucking Lalonde, swanning in here like her mother, acting as if she's going to breeze through everything, like Roxy coasted through without even trying, and then vanished before you could beat her. Well, you can't get her, but you can get her daughter. Payback's a bitch, and so are you. Rose Lalonde deflects your attacks, one after another, but you're not going to give up, and she's weakening. Well, you're hardly testing her if you're not pushing her, are you? It's not your problem if she can't handle it, is it? Rose wavers, and you doubt she can stop you this time. Your spell forms in your hand and you launch it at her, the magic dripping malice seeking its home until... You made your point, she passed your stupid test, one of the other students says. Karkat, Rose says from behind him. Right. Karkat Vantas, species unknown. But not. You note as you observe the sizzling mark on the floor. Entirely useless. If you're offering to take her place, then that's fine. Or are you protecting her? You ask lightly, already webbing something else together with one hand. She doesn't need help. She protected herself just fine. There's no need to keep pushing it, Karkat says tightly. You fling your spell at him, but it bounces off a white glowing field around him, one that dissipates as soon as your magic has faded. You dare tell me how to run my class? If you're so desperate for a test of your own, you just had to say so. You sneer and strike at him, not with a mere spell, but with a leg. Your physical form is harder to block, and whatever petty shield he can muster won't. And yet, it is stopping you. But surely it can't stop all of you, and you have so many legs to use. You try to drab around him to get to Rose. Through sheer speed, you manage to get through, but your leg doesn't make it quite to Miss Lalonde. A brown hand grips the end of your leg tightly, venomous hairs that have speared through his skin, but they're burning off in white fire. You can't push past him or get your leg back, and nothing should be this strong. No, Karkat whispers, his eyes white from edge to edge. You've pissed off a god before. This is the closest thing you've felt ever since that moment. Just like last time, you're realizing how badly you fucked up after the point where it's too late. Karkat! The demon across the room hisses at him. What are you? You choke out, staring at the useless-looking student who can clearly kill you with no effort at all. Angry, Karkat says ever so quietly. The demon makes a slightly strangled noise from across the room. We're not going to talk about what I am, and you're going to forget about it. And you're definitely not going to abuse the power you have over your students, are you? Karkat asks. He blinks and his eyes are normal again, but the grip holding you in place is still very much there. The last time you fucked around against powers that outranked you, you ended up with significantly more limbs. You're not keen to do that again. This thing can't be a god, but he's clearly... Actually, no, it's not your business, and you're not getting involved. Fine. You've made your point. You nod, trying to keep your voice even. Yeah, see how that works? Karkat says, and shoves your leg back. You skitter backwards away from him and stare, watching as he looks at Rose apologetically. I'm sorry, you completely had that until she went too far. She didn't need to do that. Karkat apologizes meekly, despite shaking his hand clean in the air with a burst of white fire. Don't worry about it. I didn't know you could do that, Rose says weakly and gives you a wary look. Her little bodyguard eyes you suspiciously as well, and you loathe her all the more for also having some kind of advantage that'll see her through her studies like her fucking mother. Come on, let's get you a drink or something, Karkat says lightly and steers her out of your classroom. Fucking Lalonde. Little blip. Little one. The implication that mindfang is, I think you say arachne? Arachne? From Greek mythology? Yeah. Okay, it's not confirmed, but that was the general talk in AU at the time, and there's an implication, so this is different from canon AU? It is, yeah. I get what you mean. Little cute one. Makes some sort of sense? It does. Oh, flashbang. Next one. Weirdly intense sollux thing is what the title is. Here we go. Here we go. You've a straight 2 miles clean up from Dave's room. If you look, you can see him as a flare of magic down there. You've never had a real home. Places don't tether you, but Dave does. He's home to you. You wish you could be in there with him right now, but you can't. You're sobbing, and it only upset him. He wouldn't understand why, and you can't tell him. He'd look at you all sad and concerned. That's not what you want. All the same, it feels better to be close to him, and straight line of sight will do that. You curl yourself into a ball and bawl. See what you did there? Dave would appreciate that. He still has that much left. Being around Dave hurts sometimes. It's like there's holes in him, but he's still your Dave. Even around everything that's happened, that can't change. He doesn't know how. He knows you, but his body does. When he holds you close, it's just like it ever was. He talks to you in that specific frequency that's yours alone. His clever fingers soothe the path down the back of your neck. He's still Dave, and you're still his. He no longer recalls the hows and whys of that, but he knows it in his core. You can't deny that he's happier now, not remembering what his father did to you both, not remembering what he did to get rid of him and the rest. He saved everyone and fractured himself doing it. You understand, and you love him even in bits. It's love. It aches, but it's a sweet ache. You'll follow him through this life that he's carving for himself, and delight that he saved the world, but is happy doing homework and going to class. That you can deal with. Karkat, though. Fucking hell. You hate him, and you like him so much. He challenged you, respected you, and you did the same back. It was pitched for you, but he blended his own thing into it, something softer and tender. He loved you once. You know he did. He told you so in words, but also in every fond look he gave you, in the way he'd touch you as if you were something holy. He hated you back like you needed him to, but it was love as well. Fuck if Karkat didn't do things his own way. When you couldn't find him, you were worried. You missed him, but there was nothing you could do after a certain point. Maybe he had lost his form and was taking ages reforming without his god around. Maybe he was dealing with something else. You had no idea, but you knew he was strong, and he'd be looking after himself long before you were even made, and you had your own crisis to deal with. There was a plan. Dave took you with him to his mother's old school, and you didn't know what his plan was, but it was obviously there. When you saw Karkat, you realized this had to be it. Dave had shaped things so he would end up here with you both just as surely as he'd shaped the world to look after the people his spell banged up. Those who were clawed back from death as the world ended, and couldn't be allowed to remember that. People who knew things they shouldn't. Species who were more magically in tune to what was happening and needed a harder reset. Dave looked after them, and now he had brought Karkat to you. Only Karkat didn't remember you. He doesn't know you. He doesn't love you. Hell, he doesn't even like you. You choke out a sob. You love him and he doesn't remember you, doesn't like you, doesn't even hate you. You dropped your guard around him and he burnt you with it, a shot he never would have taken before. You can't even behave right around him. He doesn't understand why you're acting like you are, but it's not as if you can say to him that he's an angel you fell in love and hate with, so him not remembering is killing you. You can't tell Dave about your heartbreak because he doesn't and can't remember. You can't make him remember. Your tongue is held for you, and so you're in agony. You can't even show it to him because it only upset him. The breeze swirls around you, and the clouds shift to obscure the ground. Not that it blocks Dave from your sight, or Karkat for that matter. A gentle hand squeezes your shoulder. Wiping your face on your sleeves, you look around at June, floating effortlessly in the air with her hair swirling around her. Her expression is pained. She got a good deal out of this, and you got shafted. She feels guilty. Hey, June says softly. I can't even talk to him about it, you whine. June sighs and slides her arm around your back, her hand curling against Dave's rib in your chest. You know he didn't mean to hurt you like this. It doesn't mean you can't go back to what you had with Karkat either. Just make him fall for you again, June says comfortingly. Even if I could, you start. You can, she interrupts. Even if I could, that's creepy. I know so much about him, and he doesn't want to know anything about me. Forcing things to go back to how they were is fucked up. We're not playing the same game, you go on. I'm always surprised at how honorable you are, June muses. You shoot fire at her. You know better than to go for lightning. It's not like anything you do will really hurt her. Maybe on a really good day for you, there's a chance you could kill her if you got lucky and were trying exceptionally hard. But you're not a god, and she's a goddess. A minor one, but still in a league above you for sure. You get your point across, though. June snuffs the fire out and mends her clothes thoughtfully. She floats above you and looks at you upside down. We watched this movie with Karkat. 50 First Dates, June begins. Who made it, you ask. I don't know. Adam Sandler was in it, she says with a frown. Definitely from my side, then, you nod. Shut up, dick breath. The point is that the movie was about this girl who had memory loss. Each day, her memories would start over, and she wouldn't remember the day before, and Adam Sandler's character had to romance her every single day, June explains. You consider this for a moment. That's creepy as fuck and sounds like my own personal nightmare hell, you inform her flatly. Well, Karkat thought it was romantic, June says petulantly. Karkat is a romantic. He could find romance in anything, you snap. Except you now, apparently. Maybe you should try, June advises. Maybe you should leave me alone, you snarl at her. I'm literally the only person you can talk to about this. Come find me when you stop being such a douche about this, June says sharply and melts into the breeze, leaving you alone again. Good job, sollux. You go back to your room, choose not to weigh anything much, and sit on Dave's legs as he sleeps, guarding him as always. Besides, if you slept, you know just where your dreams would take you. Better you just don't. Your waking life isn't much easier. You watch as Karkat smears jam across his toast as he listens to a tale Jade is regaling him with about her island. Karkat says inquisitively to something surprising Jade said. You weren't listening to what? He sticks his finger in his mouth to get jam off of it. You're used to running thoughts through your brain to see if saying them will have consequences. Hey, Karkat, I've really missed your tongue. How about we introduce ourselves, flags in your mind, as having consequences both because you're referring to a past he doesn't remember and for obvious social reasons. You say nothing. You don't super need to eat, but you like to. Besides, you have extra energy if you're not just pulling it from your connection to Dave. All the same, you're lacking an appetite right now, so you just jab at your yogurt with a spoon. Maybe you should just stop having breakfast with the others, but Dave likes it because it's a community thing, and he likes having people he belongs with. You boycotting would send the message that you don't like it and maybe discourage him. It's not even true. You do like it. You like these people. It's just seeing Karkat can be like stabbing yourself in the eye. It's funny. You killed him so many times. Well, divested him of his physical body, but you could never actually really kill him. Theoretically, you could have, but you didn't want to. Even in the early days, you had the sense that he didn't want to hurt Dave, and so you didn't want to kill him either. Not forever. But Dave kind of has, hasn't he? He took so much out of the Karkat, or so much of the Karkat out of Karkat, that you have to ask if this Karkat is really Karkat. You've thought the name Karkat too much. Penny for your thoughts? Rose asks curiously. Do you even have a penny on you? You ask her. I could owe you. Rose shrugs. Rose is a sharp, manipulative, distressingly perceptive bitch. You've always respected that about her, and typically she's nice to be around. If she's asking, she is actually interested in your thoughts. She's not one for politeness for the sake of politeness. You like her. Thinking about what makes someone, you tell her, theoretical enough to be allowed. As in, what makes someone a person instead of an animal? Rose asks, curiosity ignited. No. What makes someone that person, not someone else? How many people have you been, or are you always you? You explain. I wonder about that, Karkat says, and you startle. You didn't know he'd been listening. I suppose you would. Missing your memories must make you wonder about identity. Rose nods. No shit. I don't know who I was before, but I think I'm still the same person, Karkat tells her. You hope he is. You need the person you loved to not be dead. You can deal with different, like Dave, but you need him to be the same in there somewhere. Otherwise, your Karkat died. My soul, or whatever, is still the same, and when I'm trying to find out what I forgot, it's my memories that I'm looking for, not someone else's. I'm still me. I wish I just knew more about who I am, Karkat sighs wistfully. Oh, the things you would tell him. You can't actually tell him. Out of a vain hope, you start to try and feel your tongue paralyze in your mouth. I love you. You want to say it, and your jaw feels like it's locking up. You forgot me, but I can't ever forget you. You weren't supposed to forget. I didn't know you would. I didn't know this plan. I wouldn't have let him take that from you. You feel heat between your teeth. Taste the threat of brimstone. You'll catch your mouth on fire if you try. Karkat is looking at you, dark eyes trained on you like he's trying to work you out. Fucking Karkat. For all that he was older than you, a goody two-shoes guardian angel who helped everyone, he was always blinded by his optimism. He knew well enough how people could be, but he always hoped that if he did the right thing, it would all turn out right. It made him oblivious at times. Weak, stupid, reckless. It's what drove him to seek you and Dave out in the first place. So fucking dumb. But irritatingly enough, he could also be distressingly smart, empathetic instead of just pathetic like you thought angels were. He could be sharp and intuitive, and it always happened to be the very worst moments for you. He'd always have your number at the very worst time. Are you okay? Karkat asks warily. You want to tear his throat out with your teeth and then cry for 1,000,000 years. Are you okay? No, you aren't. I wasn't talking to you, you tell him. True statement, not an answer to what he asked, but not forbidden information either. Nor an answer that would let him get leverage under this shell you're desperately trying to keep up around the things you can't say to him. You know Karkat. Once he starts getting a hint of what you know, he'll push and be obnoxiously smart about it. You can't let that happen. Dave did what he did for a reason. Karkat's memories were taken for a reason. You don't know that reason, and Dave can't tell you, but you have to trust him. Dave made you. You're the same. You have more faith in him than anyone has ever had in any god. And yet, you want Karkat back. You want him to know the truth. You can't tell him, but he's smart. You could leave enough of an opening that he could feel the edges of the truth and work it out for himself. You could be very sly about how you say the things he'll make you say to aid him. You're sure that if he starts to remember, it'll be like dominoes, and he'll come back. But dominoes tip more dominoes. What if him getting his memory back undoes everything and literally ends the world? You can't do that to Dave or Karkat, let alone everyone who lives on this planet who doesn't deserve to die. You need him to know that you can never let him. You're a walking contradiction, a splice of duality. At least you're on brand. Yeah, well, you were talking about something interesting for once. Karkat quips back right away. Your heart aches. Yeah, you mumble and get up. Karkat looks puzzled at you leaving. You ordinarily wouldn't leave in the middle of arguing with him like this. He doesn't remember, but his surprise tells you that the instinct is still there. Does it hurt him too? In a rare moment of selflessness, you hope not. He doesn't deserve this hell. Oh, I haven't read that in a while. Oh, I'm so emotional. Oh, that one fucking hurt. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh, the sollux POV. God damn. My poor little heart. Oh, I fucking love them so much. Oh, they got the happy ending. Everybody shut the fuck up, they got the happy ending. I don't care about anything else. As long as they got there. That's what matters. Oh my god. Okay, one more mini one, and then we do the epilogue, and then that's it. So probably gonna be longer than an hour, but we'll see. Your name is Karkat Vantis, and you are enjoying a rare moment of peace. It's lovely, blissful even. Underneath you is the ever-so-soft rug, which is situated in the middle of Dave's living room. It's all the lovelier now that your eyes are shut, and you don't have to see the horrendous patterns on it. The midsummer sun is beaming in through the wide windows, warming your skin and reflecting off of every glass-paneled feather of your wings. At your side, Sollux is dozing lazily. He's not fully asleep because the tip of his tails are slowly drumming a beat against your legs, a slow tempo 1-2-1-2. He's cuddled up against your side, actually enjoying the warmth and peace as much as you are. You could spend eternity like this, and you kind of get to, actually. Your eyes snap open at the sound of the front door. You don't move your face, but eyes open all along your wings. One of Sollux's smaller eyes opens a fraction, a tiny slit of red that closes again as he buries his face in your shoulder once more. Just Dave, then. You hear Dave move, go into another room. He moves again, footsteps coming closer. Figures, sunbeams, snake and solar panel. Dave snorts. Solar panel. Sollux giggles into your shoulder gleefully. He's made that joke before, but not for a long time. You'd hope that he'd forgotten it. Fuck off, I'm relaxing, you say into the rug, refusing to move. Thought it'd look unfamiliar. Dave chuckles. His footsteps sound a little light. He's been old this morning when he left. The way he sounds now is how he does when he's younger. You open a curious eye on your wing and see that. Yeah, he looks about the age he was when you first met him. Not that you care. Dave's a god of time, so that sort of thing varies. It's part of the deal. You only see him as a kid when he wakes up from a nightmare. Those are never good. He hasn't noticed you looking at him, so you get up to see how fondly he looks down at you and Sollux. When his fingers brush your hair, you lift your head from the comfortable yet hideous rug and pull your other wing up to make room for him. Hell yeah, Dave hisses softly and scooches in like he just won something. You shake your head fondly and settle back down into the sunbeam. Dave's hands skirt over your lower back and laces with Sollux's, which is very sweet. You're thinking about how sweet they are when Dave unlaces his hand from Sollux's, causing a petulant little sound from said demon, only for Dave to quickly lower his hand and grab your ass. Mentally, you cross off sweet from the list of words you're going to use right now. Sollux snickers in amusement against your shoulders, and yeah, there's another hand on the other side of your ass, and unfortunately this one has prickly claws. Ow, you say firmly. The demonic hand on your butt digs those claws little and sharper, so you smack Sollux in the head with your wing. The following scuffle sounds like someone trying to fistfight a wind chime, and you really hoping that eventually those dumb sounds of your wings will stop sounding dumb to you. Today is not that day, alas. You freeze partway through your scuffle as you suddenly know something. Sollux's face is in shades of red and orange as you stare in his direction. You know what it's like when your god is imparting something onto you. He gets it as well. What's she want? Sollux asks after a second. It's not Rose exactly. It's It's her domain, you murmur as the idea filters into your head. A disturbance in the force, Dave muses from the floor nearby. Someone's trying to shut down Wikipedia, you whisper in horror. Whoa, there's easier ways to get smoked, but that'll do it, Dave says, raising an eyebrow. Rose isn't the only knowledge-based god who will have an issue with that. You don't do that shit without consequences. Rose is gonna go nuts. She's gonna... Do you want a sword? I want to see this, Sollux says gleefully. He's not big on violence, but he doesn't seem to mind Rose's "look at what you did, mortal" kind of punishment. I just took my shoes off, Dave whines. Yeah, I have to go, you say and get to your feet. Come on, think of how much history is on there, time, you know? Sollux reminds him. I'm comfy, Dave grumbles. Give me an hour, Dave says suddenly, also behind the sofa as he looks at both of you. Dumbest use of time powers there is. Come on, let's go before Rose turns too many people's brains inside out. God, you snap that last word out with meaning, knowing it'll go right to Rose so she knows you're coming. Fuck yeah, Sollux grins, and you're off. I need to see Rose and Karkat greeting someone in God mode so bad. They're so delightful. I need to see Karkat being like, Rose, no, we've talked about this. We can do a warning before a smite. They're so precious to me. They're so precious. So this is after Dave, this is actually technically after the mini epilogue, because they have to live out a mortal human life first. And this is like after they've lived out that life and then they're gods again. Anyway. Okay, final epilogue thing. This one's the hefty one. Or not hefty one, but this one's the... Yeah, this one's the long one. Here we go. Anyway, anyone who hasn't read the epilogue's 3 guesses to how Dave died. Here we go. Oh, the joke again. This is, that's great. A little callback. We already got it. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, have you upgraded to being a solar panel now? Sollux teases as he appears in the library. You're face down on the floor with your wings spread out, catching the sunlight, and you were incredibly comfortable until you were interrupted. Thanks. Jealous, you mumble against the floor. That everything I do is cool? Yeah, you are, Sollux retorts and wanders closer. I definitely believe you, you tell him without even opening your eyes. So, how's it going? Sollux asks after a second or two. Probably 2. You stretch up and sit up so you can get a better look at him when he's leaning against the wall by the windows. The book or the dinner, you ask. I meant you, but sure, those things too, Sollux laughs. Rose is losing her shit about publishing dates and peer review and all of that, like they're not going to publish her work. As for the midsummer dinner, that has to be perfect so she can help Jade make a better impression on her summer-aligned relatives that is also going incredibly stressfully. So, sorry I've not been messaging you back quickly or anything. I've had my hands full with her. You groan. And she kicked you out into here? Sollux guesses, and you nod. Apparently, you helping became more stressful than not helping, so you got sent away. Honestly, you'd been enjoying the quiet moment, but now that Sollux is here, and the inevitable Dave, who must be close, you can guess that peaceful isn't going to be happening anytime soon. Holy shit, she is pissed, Dave announces loudly as he walks in the room. Yeah, I'm sure that that didn't make it worse, you grumble. He's been sent to sit in here and think about what he did, Sollux tells Dave gleefully. That is not what I said, you snap, but he's not entirely wrong. Not that he can be allowed to think that. It's not like you've been away from Dave and Sollux for all that long, but you miss them all the same. Sometimes it's like that. Dave and Rose live obviously separate lives, so you can't always be all together like you could when you were all students. Not that it's hard to find each other, with how fast you can fly and how Sollux can teleport, but it's still hard sometimes. Thankfully, you guess you have forever, or at least a really, really long time. It's always easy to get back to, though, not just with them, but with all your friends. You can sit down with any of them, and even if it's been months and months since you've seen them in person, it's like you can just instantly pick things back up. It's odd, though, this aging thing. It's not happened to you and Sollux, or it did to a point. Both of you look a little more like actual adults in your 20s rather than people who have just reached adulthood. Kanaya remains as unaging as she's always been, and Jade has stayed put, even though she looks more and more fey these days. Roxy and Terezi are the same as when you got back from hell, but Rose, Dave, and June, not so much. It's not as if they're old. They just passed 50 last year, and Dave barely cared about the milestone at all. Mainly, you think that's because he's looking forward to throwing himself a massive, tacky, and inappropriate 69th birthday. But it still gets jarring when you see them against people who should be the same age. Rose doesn't enjoy it like Dave does. At least in academia, she's rightfully respected, but random people treat her like some invisible late middle-aged woman, and it's still legally illegal to wildly curse people for being rude, even if you have a very good dragon lawyer. You drop out of the conversation as you feel a slight tugging on your soul. Rose can still summon you, even if that's all you can do, but that was still mild enough that it's not even the polite request that she normally gives you. What? Dave asks, since you just stopped talking partway through your sentence. Rose, I think. Hold that thought, I'll be back, you tell him, and get up from the library sofa. You wander into the kitchen and see Rose there with her sleeves pushed up and fanning herself with one hand. All of the windows around the kitchen are wide open like she was trying to let smoke out or something, but you can't smell anything burning. You called? You say. What? No, Rose says as she looks at you. Oh, I thought I felt you. Can I help you at least since I'm here? You ask. Can you check the dates on everything over there? I just have this feeling that something is wrong, and it's driving me crazy. It's not the weather. I've checked the forecast over and over. Besides, we're having summer here. It's not like weather will be a problem. Rose mutters and goes back to something complex looking involving scales. Sure, you say quietly. Rose is sweating even though the breeze outside is pleasantly fresh. The dates on all the food are fine, so Rose sends you to rearrange the seating outside and set places for everyone. Every time you see her, she just looks more stressed. Can you get my bag? I have pastry hands, Rose says by way of explanation. She holds her fingers out of the bowl, and sure enough, she's pretty coated in flour and forming pastry. Sure, you go fetch her bag and bring it back. There's a medicine box in there. Can you get me an antacid, something out of there? I don't care exactly what. I've got awful heartburn, she says as she kneads the dough around in the bowl a little more. It's probably stress. It's not like I've seen you eat anything all day, you point out, but get what she wants anyway. I'm not hungry. I feel sick with stress. But yes, telling me to be less stressed certainly helps, Rose says sharply. You hold out the medication she asked for rather than touch it with her buttery hands. She just bites it right out of your fingers and swallows it dry. Alright, I'm going before you bite me again. Call me if you need me, you tell her, and retreat to the library again. Is it safe to come out yet? Dave calls to you as you walk through the door. Even Roxy's in there now. I wouldn't, you warn them, and go sit down again. You take it on yourself to let people into the house when they arrive, and then herd them safely past Rose into the library. But ever so often you still get that quiet jerk on your soul that pulls you back to Rose, even though she insists every time that she didn't do anything. You eventually give up and just stay with her until whatever this is passes. What else needs doing? You ask as Rose fills a glass with ice water about 50-50. Something, I'm sure. I feel awful, Rose says, pressing the glass to her temple. We can cancel. You pause at the glare that Rose gives you. You could let someone else finish this and go have a rest. Maybe you caught something. No, I'm certain something is going to go wrong. Can't you feel it? Like this impending something, Rose insists. She seems so certain, but, well, she's had no real seer power since the trial, not beyond normal human intuition or very specific spells. Telling her there's no way that she's sensing something doesn't seem like a good move either. Are you still feeling sick? You ask instead, sidestepping the whole thing. Rose nods and crunches through a whole ice cube. Leaning over the counter, you feel her forehead, and she's not especially hot, just sweaty. One of the warding spells on the house flashes, and Rose jumps. That'll be the summer group. Oh shit. Rose gasps and scrambles for the food that she's got waiting on the sides. I'll go greet them. Get Jade to come with, you tell Rose gently and slip away. It's nice to see the Summer Fae. You're not too familiar with them, but you have met their queen in passing. They're princes that you're more familiar with. Princess that you're more familiar with. Karkat, Miss Paint beams at you and kisses your cheek as she guides you over the threshold to Roxy's property, even though you should have been doing that. Hey boss, you grin at her. You've not worked for her for a few years because of Rose's book, but you're still on staff. What can you say? You like your coworkers, and the library still likes you back. Miss Paint's mother stands quietly nearby, her skin blindingly white from the midsummer sun that strikes her at all angles. Her eyes are completely black, and her dress is pastel, simple and even ripped, but it still looks regal? You don't know. Face shit is bonkers, and you still stand by that. Rose has all sorts of good stuff cooking, but she's kind of stressed right now, so, you say quietly to Miss Paint. Oh, she shouldn't have gone through any trouble, Miss Paint assures you. I wouldn't say that to her, but, where's your worst half? I thought the three of you were coming, you ask. Spade Slick is nowhere to be found. A work thing, he said. He did say he'd try to get here if he could. He didn't really elaborate, and I didn't ask. He shrugs. You don't really know what to say to that, so you just steer them towards the house and let Jay do all the political nice with the whole winter-summer thing. You are the best facilitator for diplomatic shit. It is you. Rose is still stressed out, but you do your part with ferrying food over to the table, and for the more delicate things, Sollux teleports them, so they move as little as possible. You don't know why it matters that the decorative food things are just so, but you're picking your battles here. Rose is breathless as she scrambles for this and that, hurrying around as fast as humanly possible. Everyone has already sat down waiting, or more likely enjoying their meal already, and Rose is still trying to find God knows what. Rose, come on, you try. No, just, let me find this, Rose insists as she scrabbles through a cupboard. Rose, you freeze when the door knocks. You're about to say that you'll get it when you realize that everyone is outside already. No one would come around to knock on the door again, and anyone new would be stopped at the property line, and you'd be alerted. No alert went off on any ward around the house at all. You stare at Rose, who clearly is thinking what you are, breathing quick and fast, and clearly trying to call to mind whatever spell she can think of. Stay here, I'll go, you whisper to her. Rose nods, shaking slightly. You step back and let your wings flare out and grab your weapon as you quietly stalk to the door. You open the door quietly and stare. Hi, I brought cupcakes. I think that's right, Arati says pleasantly. She's holding a silver platter with black cupcakes on them. They have tiny sugar paper printed skulls on them, which are sliding off a little as the icing is just a little bit too runny, like she made them herself. Radia, what do you... did Sollux invite you and not tell me just to fuck with me? You ask. That's probably what happened. Fucking Sollux, he's a menace to everyone, but especially you. You shift back to normal and step out of the way so she can come inside. Let's go outside, yeah? Aradia smiles. Yeah, Rose says quietly behind you. She'd obviously left the kitchen and can see who it is. We've got enough food and drinks and an extra chair for you, actually. Come on, you tell Aradia and lead the way outside. Sollux drops his fork when he sees Aradia, like he was surprised or something. Thank you for not telling me, you hiss at him, taking your seat next to him with Rose sitting down at your left. Opposite you, Aradia sits down next to Miss Paint as everyone around the table stares at her. Miss Death, the Summer Queen says uneasily. Oh, it's not. She and Sollux are together, you say quickly, wanting to dispel the understandable fear at Death herself just showing up to your party. I didn't invite her. Who? It's not like there's anything we could do about it. Who are you here for? Sollux asks quietly. You didn't... If she wasn't invited, then she's here on business. I did bring cupcakes, but this is business too. For gods, it's kind of expected that I make an appearance personally. Arati explains and casually pulls a full-on, entirely stereotypical scythe out of thin air. The Fae Queens count as gods. Arguably, their direct descendants do as well. Roxy is the holder of the godhood of hell, even if it's just in the figurehead role she has now. Then there's June and Dave, and Rose squeezes your hand under the table. Her hand is clammy and her fingers are shaking a little. As a little warning, I'd suggest Karkat should stand a little more over there. It all looks so nice and everything, Aradia says, pointing to the tree line. You're here for Rose. No, you can't. You leap to your feet, wings flaring and light gathering around you. You'll fight her if you have to. You can't stop her, Karkat, Sollux argues. Oh, like I couldn't get you out? The fuck I can't! You shout at him and glare at Aradia again right after that. She's human, Karkat. Dying is the thing they do. Well, everyone does, but they're very predictably short. Aradia explains kindly and sets a timer on the table. There's so very little sand left in this small bulb of glass, and whatever is above that is blotted out with light too bright even for you to see. Dave pushes past you with Roxy right behind him. They turn Rose around a little so her chair is a little more comfortable for her. You can see just how hard she's breathing and how she's got one hand pressed to her chest. There's got to be some way you can stop this. An ambulance isn't a solution for a house that can't be found with any real ease. You could move her blood yourself by magic if you had to, but you don't know what's causing this. If it's her heart, then there's a million things that could be wrong. You scramble for your own bag. You have to have a book that has something on this situation. Some way to fix this. Karkat, Rose gasps. I'm going to fix this. I'll find something, you insist. That's not how this works, Sollux tries to tell you. Go over there, Rose says shakily. What? No, I have to. You're cut off. Go over there, Rose snaps, her finger pointing to the tree line. It's been a long while since you've tried to resist a command, not since before all this. It hurts. You refuse to move under your own free will, and whatever angelic magic your being exists under then forces you to go. You're dragged, stumbling, and eventually scraped across the dirt until you're exactly where Rose wanted you to be. You can't leave. Every muscle in your body strains as you get close, but you just can't. Sollux comes to you right away and sits with you. He's trying to keep you calm and stop how much this hurts, but it's not working. She's death. It's not her life ending as a human, getting her powers back. She's dying for real. You shout at him as you try to push out of the space that you're frozen in. You try any harder, you're going to break your bones. Aradia probably has to end this mortal part and give them their godliness back after. If she was here for Rose, for good, she'd be here for you too. That'd kill you as well. She'd be here for me as well then, right? She only had something for Rose, Sollux says reasonably. You barely hear because Rose slumps sideways out of her chair and goes into Roxy's arms, and suddenly you're ice cold, colder than winter ever was. There's no light and no heat. It's gone. She's gone. Aradia steps closer and slices cleanly through Rose. Her body is still in Roxy's arms, not breathing, not moving, nothing. Aradia looks around at the two of you, and Sollux quietly says, "Oh shit," right by your ear. You should probably be back here, Sollux, Aradia shouts. Sollux looks at you a little wide-eyed, and then he's gone. You can't breathe. You're so cold, and as your body locks up, you topple onto the dirt. Aren't there measurements for how cold you are, even though it's the middle of the day and the height of summer, absolute 0 or something? You don't know. The sky is blue, and the trees are fresh and healthy. Above you, the sun hangs in the sky. You stare up at it. There's that thing, probably a name for it, where the body just can't tell between extreme temperatures. Pouring boiling water over you and liquid nitrogen feels the same. It's all just temperature pain. There's even cases of people who have been found frozen to death who have ripped all their clothes off because they couldn't tell cold from heat. You're so cold everything hurts impossibly, but as the sun burns in the sky above you, suddenly you don't know if you're hot or cold. When the sun opens to a giant eye, you know that it isn't cold you feel. For lack of a better word, what happens is you explode. The body you had was small and finite, and the form you needed, the one that was called for, is not. Your wings and feathers and so many eyes on each one and all of you is on fire. The sun stares down at the whole world, and you can feel every light bulb, candle, every source of light is something you can see through. Not that it's you exactly. You're reflecting it. All that light coming from you is going right into Rose. You burn out in a mess of giant scorching all-seeing feathers and finally shift down into something far smaller. You can't move because you're way down with all these feathers around you, and you can't get closer to Rose because you're forbidden. You squeak and flutter your wings helplessly until a gray hand delicately picks you up. I have no idea what the fuck you just were. It was like if you asked Cthulhu to draw a phoenix and then set everything on fire and added 1 billion extra eyes. I think you were in like 9 extra dimensions, Sollux says with a weak little laugh. You're in his cupped hands, and you think you're a hummingbird again now. With a flutter, you're able to pull yourself up to the edges of his fingers so you can see Rose. Rose is on the ground now, with everyone giving her a wide space. She's an incandescent shape of herself, but as her glow dims, she's herself again. just like the day you first met her, whichever first you care to name, actually. She's glowing from within, but now more like the Queen of Summer, and you sag in relief as you see her breathe in. Rose, can you fix him? Sollux calls out. Rose looks around and jolts in alarm. She scrambles to her feet, and then it's as if a camera flash goes off and she's suddenly in front of you. All four of Sollux's eyes are blinking as if she blinded him just there a little, the result being that Rose is free to take you from Sollux's hands. I'm so sorry. You can go wherever you like. I'm not ordering you to do anything. Here, Rose says. She holds her hands out, and before you can slip out of her palms, you're suddenly yourself again, with her holding her hands to your chest. Don't fucking do that to me, you shout at her loud enough that glass shatters in the distance. You grab her into a hug and hold her as tight as you possibly can. Cool. You two can just make me deaf and blind. That's great for me, Sollux bitches nearby, but you're ignoring him for now. When you let Rose go, she looks around at the woodland near you. A few of the trees have exploded, and a good number of them are on fire. In the interest of living by that smoky, the forest cryptid motto, you decide to stop this forest fire. But even as you take the fire away, you can't help but notice the thousands of eyes carved into every tree. Excuse me. You okay? Dave asks warily as Rose walks you back to the table. I feel a lot better, actually. I'm very sorry to just die in the middle of dinner, Rose says awkwardly. Well, you didn't actually damage the dinner, so I think we're all good. Queen Jade grins and plucks a bread roll from the nearby basket. Shit, I just thought, I can't wait to be out in public with you again and tell people that we're twins and explain nothing. Dave beams. Yes, that's amazing, June cackles. You already didn't explain anything when you were the same age and looked totally different, but I guess this adds to it, Sollux says thoughtfully. Well then, dinner? It was very nice of you to bring cupcakes as well. I suppose an early release from the court sentence, Rose says. Wait, does that mean I'm being punished more than Rose? That doesn't seem fair, Dave pouts. Yeah, I've never done anything wrong in my entire life, June agrees. It's nice having Rose back as her normal self, even if normal is a lot more seeing ability and very disturbed sleep. She's also starting to get people praying for her. An entirely dumb way for that to start is through Kanaya. Kanaya had followed Matuna's advice when he first turned her and tried to get invested in as many gods as she could in order to assure that there'd be really long custody case over her soul should she ever die. Only that included praying to abstract concepts too, the idea there being that, hey, maybe she could get in on the ground with some newer god and be held in higher regard. That'd cause more problems, right? Yeah, 3 guesses to what praying to the abstract idea of wanting to know things, specifically knowledge that has to do with academia, and also knowledge about interpersonal connections does. Guess who that goes to? Fucking Kanaya has been praying to Rose before Rose even existed. For all you know, her doing that created the demand that led Rose to develop into that niche. Who can say with gods? So whatever, she has a magical hotline to her girlfriend. Only other people catch her doing it. They overhear you and Kanaya talking about Rose when you're in the library. Before you know it, Rose is a pretty strong patron god of students with last-minute deadlines who can't quite connect the dots in an essay they have due. But sure, that's a Rose problem, right? She can get woken up by desperate mortal pleas for help with whoever's thesis at 3 a.m. Haha, yeah. Only you're the chump who's her one and only angel looking out for favored mortals who your god has taken an interest in is actually in your job description. So you go and show up on her behalf just to get some grad student to stop asking, only for confirmation of faith makes that shit spread. You just want a day off. Is that so much to ask, really? You're perfectly happy, hidden in the dark, just trying to sleep. Why are you... You know I can see you under there. Your elbow is sticking out, Hal says and kicks it gently with his foot just to prove the point. You may think you see me, but you don't, you say, half into the carpet. Shit, you had me fooled, Hal says, and leans down to look at you properly. The more he gets older, the more he looks like bro, or at least he does until he expresses any kind of emotion. Even boredom makes him look different. Could you give me a hand with something? You've got magic that I don't, he asks after a moment. You should have picked a better hiding spot. What? You ask with a sigh, disturbing the dust bunnies under his bed. If anything, it'd prove that Mr. Egbert still gives Hal his own space and lets him clean up, or not as the case may be. June asked me to get something for her, and she said no other gods and no sollux, Hal explains. Glad to know that I'm low down on your list, but what is it? And where is June anyway? You ask, and roll out from under the bed. No idea. She was off doing a thing, meeting up with people. I've just got messages. Hal says and pulls you to your feet. Suspicious, but sure. I'm guessing you need a ride to wherever this is, you say. It's not unusual for you to take Hal somewhere, given that he's not got his own wings back yet. You're still not even sure what's going to happen to him when he dies. Technically, he's still Silence's angel, but Hal's never seemed thrilled to go back to heaven, and you don't think that he really wants to be June's angel either. There's that whole problem of giving other people control. Maybe he could work something out and, angelically freelance or something. It's not really your problem, but you're not going to pry either. In any case, Hal shows you June's messages, which has directions to a specific burial mound, more than old enough that there's only bits of bones and metal from clothes in there. Grave robbing is a little out of your comfort zone, even if it looks to be well over 1,000 years old, so you let Hal look through it for whatever June wanted. It's a little weird that she's not here for this. If she wants whatever this is so bad, why not get it herself? You ask suspiciously. Maybe she's being watched or needed to be somewhere else when she gets it. She told me to send it over to her, so maybe time is a factor. I don't know. Hal shrugs and wrenches something from the dirt. Unlike everything else in all this dirt, the metal that Hal just pulled free is pristine. It glimmers in what little sunlight is present in this overcast afternoon. In fact, it glitters with more light than you'd expect in this kind of weather. That looks magical as shit, you observe, as Hal turns the rather large-looking band around in his hand. It's a bit too big for a bracelet, but it's sort of that shape. Norse, maybe? Maybe she's up to something with Loki. I don't really know much about this stuff. She wasn't one for letting me know much about other gods, and Bro had just had me steal things that he specifically asked for. If I don't already know what I'm looking for, then Hal trails off as he rubs mud from the band. I could ask Rose, you suggest. No gods. I'll just send it to her. I had a spell for it, Hal says, rummages in his bag. Why not ask Sollux, though? It's not like June's not asked him to do things for her before, and Sollux isn't precious about only helping Dave. But the thing is that Sollux knows more about this stuff than you do, and more than Hal. He was segregated away from everyone for so long, and you've still got magical brain damage, and you don't remember anything you might have been taught about the artifacts of other gods. But Sollux might know, and if June doesn't want him knowing, then... This feels bad, you say slowly. Hal shrugs and teleports the band away with a flash of light from the pre-written spell. Slowly, you put your hand into your own bag, feeling for your cards and keeping June in mind. Taking your hand out, you see 3 cards stacked just over each other. The Fool, unsurprising because that's something you associate with June and all her followers. The Tower, not good, not great memories with that either. Then, Death. Well, shit, you say, and show Hal, who goes a little pale. He pulls his phone out and starts calling June right away. There's no point of you trying it, but you've got better ideas. Rose texts you before you can even start to message her, a habit you wish she'd stop doing in all honesty. She'll be fine. Check the Burj Khalifa on Twitter if you want to know. She could have just told you herself what's going on, but no, that's too simple. It says it can't connect, Hal says worriedly, indicating his own phone. You search Twitter, just as Rose said. There's plenty of tweets about how the top of the tower is being repeatedly struck by lightning. I think we just stole something from the Norse gods. Maybe something Loki hid, then gave it to June. I don't know if it pissed off Thor or Odin, but I'm pretty sure that June's getting out of her human-bound punishment early. You sigh, turning your phone around. Hey, if Rose gets early parole, so do I. Oh, hey, if Rose gets early parole, so do I. The breeze whispers behind you, and in a gust of air, June is floating right between you and Hal. You leave Hal arguing about making him complicit in that without his knowledge. June can handle that one on her own. You're a little more concerned now that Dave is going to do something really dumb. Dave does, in fact, do something really dumb, but he does that on such a regular basis that it's hardly worth noting. His kind of dumb is less deliberately baiting gods to smite them and more dumb stunts on his stupid skateboard. He doesn't seem to be in a hurry at all to stop being human. If anything, he seems to delight in old age, stopping people half his age in the street to go on some ramble about complete nonsense only to introduce you as his boyfriend when you show up. Then he'll slap your ass and take off on his skateboard, leaving you mortified and all the humans nearby equally confused and horrified. He has his 69th birthday party complete with a plethora of obscene balloons, something he keeps up as a tradition every 10 years from then. His 79th, 89th, and even 99th is just dick balloons and trouble-making old man grins. Unlike Rose, who got taken out early by her heart attack, Dave is physically and mentally healthy as can be. There's no deterioration of memory or anything. Physically, he's a little slower maybe, not as physically strong, but still enough to skateboard around even though he's well over 100 years old. There's a betting pool going on after Dave passes 100 on exactly what'll take him out. Rose is allowed to join. You abstain as well. Not because Rose is telling you what'll happen, but more because you don't feel comfortable on betting on how Dave is going to die. June has her bets on some dumb old man thing, specifically that it has to be a stereotypical old person thing, like choking on prune juice or falling out of his fuzzy old man slippers. Sollux is betting that he's going to die trying to prove how not old he is, which, given how much skateboarding that includes, you think it's casting too wide of a net, but you digress. You're sat in the library quietly repairing a book with no noise except for the shuffling of Kanaya's papers and your own work. Well, that and the clock on the wall. You don't notice it until it stops. It takes a little while for the lack of quiet ticking to register with you. You pause in your work, your eyes on the clock. It probably just broke or needs batteries changing or something. It's probably nothing. That's the kind of explanation that springs into your mind, but all the same, you can't shake the feeling that it's not that. You have a spell, not teleportation as such, but more of a way to get Dave to Dave's place by opening a door. It's magic you borrowed from Spade Slick since he owes you several, and with Dave's old age, you don't want to be far away and risk Sollux being unable to summon you because he's caught up like you were when Rose died. Give me a second, you say, to Kanaya hurriedly, and bring the door into being on the wall and step through. Dave's apartment is suddenly before you, the floor littered as always with cables from this and that. You'd always said that if he's not careful, he'll trip on one and break his neck, so you're half expecting to see him on the floor there. Oh, hi, Karkat, Aradia says, coming into the main room from the hallway. So he did die, you conclude. A god of time would keep me waiting, huh? Aradia laughs. Where, you ask, craning your neck around her, but you can't see Dave. Just down there. I'm sure he's up and ready to see you. Aradia giggles and vanishes into the thin air. Walking through where she was, you see that the walls are a little scorched and clawed, leading towards the bathroom. As you get closer, your foot brushes a gigantic red snakeskin. Yep, Sollux definitely went through something with Dave dying. The bathroom door is slightly ajar, and you can hear water running. Your phone charm on your wrist pings just as you nudge the door open with one hand. Dave is standing there, skin damp, with a towel partway around his waist. He's got one hand on his towel and his phone in the other. Sollux is an adult anaconda sized and wrapped around Dave's neck and shoulders. Dave looks so young. Logically, you know this is the age he was when you met him, but you've spent more time with him, older, that he looks almost odd to be at this age again. That was fast. Dave grins, all mischief and unlined features. What was, you start to ask as your phone charm buzzes again, reminding you of the unread messages. 2 and 2 start becoming the suggestion of 4 in your mind. Did you just come back to life and immediately send me a picture of your dick? You ask him incredulously. On Dave's shoulders, Sollux rears up enough so it's very clear that he's nodding his head. Well, it was right there, and I thought you'd want to know why I died, Dave says cheerily. What are you talking about? You ask. He's not making any sense. You know, Dave casually dispels his phone back into its charm and saunters closer to you. I was in the shower, enjoying myself, relaxing, thinking of you. Hey, getting your blood pressure up is dangerous when you're that age. Are you... You stumble over your words. Dave casually lifts his hand and strokes Sollux's serpentine head and down his back. The movement trails red sparks, and all at once Sollux is back in person, too, looking highly entertained at what's going on. Are you trying to tell me that you got hard thinking about me and then died from it? You screech incredulously. I mean, this is really on you, being drop-dead gorgeous and all, Dave says with a wink. Sollux is shaking with laughter, his head pressed into Dave's shoulders as he tries to stifle the noise. What the fuck? I hate you both so much, you say in utter disbelief. And that's the epilogue. Death of 100 and whatever year old man. Death by boner. Rose knowing this entire time, and just Dave. Yeah. Dave's kind of base for that. Anyway, that's the epilogue. Okay, so Rose had a stroke or something. June did theft and got smited, and Dave died via boner. Yes, that's exactly how that went. Oh my god. That's alternate universe, everybody. We did it. We went through everything. The only thing left now is 22 seconds later, which, fittingly, we're gonna wait till later to do. Oh, he'll fall down the stairs, or he'll fall down some stairs. Me sitting there knowing he dies via boner. Is that even possible? I don't know. Hold on, okay. I'm gonna play my Google search history now. I'm trying to look for something, but it's giving me something else. So I'm trying to look up, like, is it possible to die by getting a boner at old age? And all I'm getting is, like, this, like, Wikipedia stuff about what's called death erection, angel lust, rigor erectus. Rigor erectus, or terminal erection, is a post-mortem erection observed in the corpses of men who have been executed, particularly by hanging. Like, somebody gets an erection after they die. Rigor erectus is really funny to me. Do we have time to request that as a doodle? That is not allowed on Twitch. That is not allowed on Twitch, but you can visit my NSFW Twitter page. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's it. That's all to Universe. I'm gonna keep you guys updated on when we'll do 22 seconds later. Or earlier. Fuck, I keep mixing those two up. But we'll do it at some point, probably. And, we'll probably do... Oh, you meant the Unreal Air kickflip. I wanted it to be Unreal Air so bad. He'd go watch this. I didn't even read the message. And then try to kickflip off the roof or some shit. Yeah. I feel like Dave tried that multiple times, but always survived. And everybody was like, what the hell? How is he still doing this at like 90 years old? But yeah. So, but I'll do 22 seconds earlier at some point. We're going to do Fall of Rome probably, but it'll probably be either a few weeks, maybe like I'll take like a month break. I don't know. I also might just be like really into continuing and doing more. So we'll see how long it takes me to think about that. But yeah, thank you guys all for joining me, wrapping up these little fun epilogue, little mini chapters. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely rest of your night. We went about an hour and 30 minutes, which, you know, not bad. You're not even mixing it up. The fic just has two different names. It's earlier on the doc, but later on AO3. So I'm technically always right. It is supposed to be earlier, though, if I recall correctly. Because it's before Kankri gets killed. Enjoy your time off. I will. I have a lot of animation stuff. I'm actually going to be probably working more on the alternate universe animated opening thing, which will be fun. I'll keep you guys updated about that. And yeah. So, lovely, lovely. I hope you all have a lovely night. And I will talk to you all at a later point. Good night, good night. Bye-bye.